very sophisticated and smooth color. Sorry, found a piece of straw. And so, there, this is some more pink. And here is the main color we're going for. Do you see how it has the light blue, dark blue, purple? Is the blue mohair, and it looks a lot more faded in the camera than it does in real life. Let's see if I can find one that's a little close. So this is one that I've already blended. Yeah. In the camera it looks sky blue, but in real life it's aqua blue. How interesting. That I dyed this, how long ago? 4 months ago? I can't maintain all the lovely color differences and patterns in it. I should at least be able to hold on to the whole blue towards the tips. And with these enormous combs, huge. This is a small, and theirs were like this wide. They were enormous. And they would have these warehouses full of wool. And these men would prep the wool for the spinners before the spinners, so the industrial spinners that received the big bags of wool in their homes to spin with, that's how they prepped the wool for worsted spinning. And worsted means that the fibers lie parallel to each other rather than being all mishmashed. The colors become muted because the whole beauty of these locks is the color striations in them that are individual to each lock. The more times I put them through these combs, the less definition that color will have. This is the on the way that I have this set up. Okay, I'm just going to unclip this and show it to you then. Okay. See those different colors from the tip to the root? This is the root. This is the tip. So you can see the difference in color. So in order to get that, I did a dye batch where I put dry wool in and then dumped powder on top of it, powder dye. When I'm not using this, my little cover goes on so that if I had somebody come in the room and was bashing around and tripped or something, they wouldn't end up hurting themselves. I have some scars from these tools. So the other colors that I want to add are this mohair that in the camera looks kind of sky blue, but in real life it's aqua blue. And then this fuchsia mohair that has a little more orange in it in the camera than it does in real life. So those are the colors that I'm going for, and I will put up a picture of what the inspiration for this is. So these ones have just a titch of white, just a titch. But I really like how bright the green is. And so I might give this one a pass and let it stick in there. Here's another one that's very bright. I like how bright it is. All the colors are pretty dark. And while there is a little bit of white in there, I think the other colors are bright enough to, on its little case, or on its little holder, and load it on like that, and just leave it in place. And then you can like bring a chair over, or you can remain standing. It's an extremely versatile tool. I prefer that if I am doing research online, doing something where my eyes need to be busy, I won't use the clip. Instead, I'll just do it seated in front of whatever it is I'm watching or researching or doing. But if you're new to it, then you use a Diz. Again, sorry about my sinuses. So, what you're turning this into is roving. If I didn't have this clip here, then this, if I was pulling on it erratically while cleaning, would flip off. This would flip off of that. So what I have is I made a short section with a buckle on it that goes all the way around, and then the C-clamp here holds it to the treadle. So actually I don't think this is too bad. It's actually looking more like a periwinkle color to me right now. And I'm not sure that the lock structure matters as much as I thought it did initially. Just because I see that I still have a little bit of color variation in there. And I'm sorry, I wish I was doing this in sunlight so that the light was friendlier to the camera. If I have to, I guess I can redo it, but this is just kind of what I felt like. I went and babysat yesterday all day, and it was kind of an emergency deal. I was already sick and just wanted to stay in bed, and doing this is very therapeutic for me. So it's just kind of nice to come down in the early morning and work on something. One comb full, and this is the result. And so I'm thinking this is good enough to use for a base. You can't see it in the camera, but it has streaks of aqua and purple in kind of a periwinkle base. That would be really pretty if I can preserve the color in a strong enough form to be able to add in little slivers of it. Or to take that. That will be no trouble preserving that color. It's a very strong color. I dyed it in a different way. And so anyway, that's kind of what I'm going for. It needs to be sleek. The original yarn that she liked was bamboo, which is kind of shiny and sleek, kind of like mohair. But I don't have any bamboo, and I have all this other that's a perfect color that I need to use anyway, so that is what we are working on. And I have some experimental bats from before. Let's see, zoom out. And it's too bad the color's not showing up so good. This one is merino with some mohair worked in. That's the shininess. And this one is what was this one? This one is some of the same but with some others. And again, it's showing up as sky blue when in fact it is aqua. Like aquamarine. So anyway, there we go. In April, I hope that this is a good starting point, and if you see any red flags going up of something that you absolutely hate or something that you absolutely love, make sure to message me. So we'll talk to you later.
Just seeing it from the video or not. Do freehand.
Yeah, it's kind of heavy. I'm done.
Just about. Let me go one zoom out while you.
Okay guys, this is April's fiber, and I'm wondering which would be the best direction to take this from. This is part of the coloring, but it's not the only part. This one is more predominantly aqua, and this one has tiny bits of aqua with more of a blue and purple mixed in. I'm doing both of them because I want the yarn to be multicolored in more than one way. Does that make sense? I don't want it to be barber striped where you've got one stripe of blue and one stripe of purple and the colors are not sophisticated. I want it to be a very sophisticated and smooth color. Sorry, found a piece of straw. So for my fine yarns, I use my Symphony. It has the smallest whirl of my 2 wheels, and so I can do all the way down to lace, very, very fine white yarn very quickly. It's very, very easy to spin fine yarn on. Once you get past worsted, this is not an easy wheel to use. It doesn't have enough pull. It has too much twist and not enough pull. I'm going to come out a bit so you can see the rest of the process. I sit on my bouncy ball and it engages my core and helps me balance, and I find that I just feel really good after a day of spinning if I'm on my bouncy ball. So here in a little bit I want to do a really good close-up in so that you can see it, but I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because of the direction of the light. Anyway, this is April's yarn. I think it's going to be gorgeous. It's turned out a lot more sophisticated than I was originally worried that it would. I was worried it was going to look bulky and fuzzy because that's the nature of this wool. I hand dyed all this wool myself, and it's from a single dye batch. A dye batch that has fuchsia and aquamarine and teal and deep purple and light purple and all these really amazing colors. And I'll never be able to duplicate it because as a beginner I just dumped dye in and vinegar and then just waited to see what would happen, and this is what happened, is that it gave me all these gorgeous colors, but it's a one of a kind color. And it just happened that April, the colors she asked for were all in that first original dye pot that I ever dyed, and so I thought that was just super fun. So obviously they're all my favorite colors because they're what I threw into the dye batch, and she wants them all in the same yarn all together, and it just makes my heart happy because that means I get to make it up and see what she does with it, and it just lets me play with more colors and see how things go. Anyway, so I think I'm going to try one more time to zoom in. I haven't done anything special with this except that I carded it worsted. I did not put it on the big drum carder. I used my worsted combs so that it would come out very shiny. The picture she sent me of was of some gorgeous multicolored hair. Hair is very shiny, not poofy. When it's looking healthy, it has shine to it. And so I needed to have a yarn that had a lot of shine to it, and the way to get that is to do a worsted, to comb it worsted. So those are the colors. Hey guys, so I have finished April's yarn, and I really hope she likes it. It was a mix of, you can zoom in now, babe, blues, purples, pinks. It was really fun to do. You're always just a little bit nervous when you do it because you're like, is it really going to be what they wanted? Were they just being polite when they said that they liked it? And so, but that's the finished product. I did hand dye all of everything that's in here was hand dyed, hand carded. This one I didn't card on the drum carder. I did it by hand because the fiber had a lot of California red in it, which has a lot of guard hair in it, which makes it prickly. And so I hand carded this one to make sure that all the prickles came out. So it should be no problem to wear it next to your skin. So those are ready to go, and we will get them sent off today. And April, I hope you love them. So for those of you who are interested in fiber goods and spinning wheels and drop spindles and yarn and that kind of thing, go check out our Etsy store. It's Dirtpatcheaven is the name of the store. So just when you get to Etsy, etsy.com, just type in Dirtpatcheaven and it'll bring you to our store. And we appreciate your business.